I'm Savannah. This is Greg and Dylan, and we're doing a story called The Robot and the Zombie, based off of the Frog and the Scorpion. Once upon a time, there was a robot who was programmed to kill zombies and vampires, and all sorts of mean, nasty things in the world that were killing off their creators, the humans. This particular robot had fulfilled his function for many long years and found himself without any nasty things to hunt. And so, as a very curious creature, went out to find his new place in the world. He searched far and wide, looking for humans or other robots to fulfill his programming. He traveled across the desert, far and wide, looking for humans or other robots to fulfill his programming. He traveled across the desert, over mountains, and across a wasteland until finally he came upon a river at the edge of a forest, across which was a road that led to a city. Surely this city would have humans in it to tell him what to do, or at the very least, some nasty things he could hunt down to complete his programming. Crossing the river, however, proved a problem since long ago his warranty had expired and did not want his circuits to get wet and stop functioning. Far and wide he looked for a way to cross it and could not find them until he came upon a zombie that appeared to be fishing in the very river he had decided to cross.
Greetings. Hello.
The zombie looked up as it notices the robot and takes a lurching step backwards, wading in the water.
Pardon me, but I could not help but notice you have no trouble in crossing this most treacherous terrain. Would you perhaps be able to render assistance in such an endeavor?
The zombie blinked as if disbelieving the request and slowly looked the robot up and down before answering.
But, you zap me. Negative. Zapping you would not allow me to complete my objective. You, zap me when almost there, then, jump over. Negative. I am an older model and cannot take the corrosion that immersion in hydrates would induce. What about when across? Then you might zap me. Robots hate zombies. Negative. So long as you accommodate my request, my gratuity circuits will not allow me to perform such an action.
The zombie mulled this over, looking from side to side of the river to the next, and finally nodded, coming over to the robot and lifted it up over his head, crossing the river. As it crossed the river, it deepened, and the zombie continued to hold the robot higher and higher over its head. When it neared the midpoint of the river, the robot, who could not control himself, shot a laser at the zombie's head. The only thing it could aim at above the water. The zombie groaned in protest as its head began to catch on fire as it stuttered out.
You said no zap. Core programming override. Parameters could not be met to allow for continuing existence of the undead.
After explaining itself somewhat mournfully, the robot tried jumping up and down on the zombie to whisper across, continually making them sink faster as the zombie tried to dunk itself to douse the fire and get away from the laser. The weight of the robot, however, was crushing, and the jumping did not help. After a short while, the zombie was submerged, but managed too much to get out of the water, and the poor robot sank faster and faster.